A man asked me for coffee today after work, and I politely told him no, and then brought myself to McAllister's, where I got this croissant, this grilled chicken sandwich, and an entire bowl of broccoli cheddar soup and a Dr. Pepper for under $25. Now, I'm not going to argue with you about how you like to date, just like I don't want you to argue with me about how I like to date. But coffee is never going to be an option for me. And just like I respect your choice to coffee, respect mine to not coffee.
It is just like saying, LeBron invited me to the gym for a full court run, but I declined and played 2K with some D3 college students. Honestly, you need to just drink a coffee instead of eating a croissant, grilled chicken sandwich, soup, and a Dr. Pepper. You need a coffee date or 10. So, you could have been on a date right now, but you are alone talking to us? The whole point of a coffee date or something similar in effort is to see if that person is worth the effort, and the bottom line is that if you can't enjoy the company of a coffee date, then you are not worth it anything more. Isn't the purpose of a first date is to know each other and to see if there is a chemistry? A coffee date would seem to accomplish that only if you are approaching it in an intentional manner and not thinking that the other person has to prove their worth to you. The thing is that a coffee date isn't just about coffee, because you can literally eat something else alongside coffee, like lemonade, different juices, sandwiches, muffins, etc. if you wish, but it doesn't necessarily and compulsorily mean you have got to drink coffee. You made it all about food because coffee is not going to be an option for you. So, if he asked you to a dinner date, you would say yes? Both are low effort, and the topic of conversation will likely be the same. So what is the difference besides a free meal for yourself? Coffee dates are an amazing vibe check, because if a woman turns you down for a coffee date and makes a video like this, she never likes you anyways. Coffee shops sell more than just coffee. A date is about the time spent and not the food to be eaten.
This is why you should never accept a coffee date for a first date.
Alright, let's hear this one.
Perhaps it sounds convenient to you because you don't need to spend a whole evening with a stranger you may not like.
And despite the fact that that's a perfectly valid reason to go on a coffee date, let's hear why that apparently is not acceptable.
But a guy who just invites you for coffee shows such low effort, it almost shows as if he's not interested in getting to know you.
Based on what?
If he says, let that girl prove herself first before I'm willing to take her out for dinner.
Perish the thought. Because, that actually almost makes sense. And we wouldn't want to do anything that makes sense now, would we?
Let me tell you what this says about you. If you accept a coffee date, that actually shows that you accept the bare minimum. And that shows how you see yourself. Because if you don't see yourself as being worthy of something more than just a coffee, how can he be convinced?
Oh, I don't know. Possibly engage in conversation and get to know each other over coffee. It's almost like that's the entire purpose, but one actually goes on to mention the purpose of dating.
The purpose of dating is to meet new people and maybe to meet a potential boyfriend while having fun. But a coffee date doesn't sound like fun. It sounds more like a job.
To you?
I'll go sit there for half an hour, see if he's worth it, see if I like him, and then we're talking. And then it's the coffee date that becomes a waste of time, because how much can you get to know somebody in half an hour to an hour?
Well enough to know if they actually want to go on a second date, I'd imagine, if they actually engage in productive conversation.
Then take you out for dinner and enjoy it, and never forget you're a free woman. If you don't like the guy, kindly excuse yourself and leave.
A person can do that over coffee as well. But just imagine the amount of people that will end up being single if they listen to this type of advice because they're not willing to accept a coffee date.
Coffee date is the only acceptable first date. It is low risk and gives you the ability to see if you can hold a conversation, and also it is less pressure for both parties. Women will expect men to pay for expensive dinners several times as first dates, only to be ghosted after, and a coffee date is most likely their go-to now. So, I guess a cooler full of beer and sitting at the lake and staring at the stars is a no-go? Coffee dates can just be it or turn into a longer date, depending on how things go. First dates are typically interviews and get to know each other type of thing. What other better way than to have coffee during the application process? Most men that have been married for over 15 years now took their wives to coffee dates, and look at how great and long-lasting their marriages are now. Women tend to dismiss the idea of a coffee date because they think it is low effort to them, but what they don't understand is that coffee date can decide your relationship with the person you are with. It is not just about the coffee. It is about getting to know if you are compatible with the person or not. The best part about coffee dates is you can spend as much time as you want there without the waiter getting upset. You can stay for up to 3 hours. You can go on a coffee date, then unexpectedly ends up having lunch with him, have a nice long walk chatting, and enjoy dinner afterwards. Women should never underestimate the power of a coffee date.
I am so sick of everyone on TikTok pretending they're too good for coffee dates these days. I searched no coffee dates and it brought up way too many examples to even count. Why I say no to coffee dates, no coffee dates, no coffee dates for me. Or even this girl telling you to talk like someone from HR to be like, try again. Which aside from being rude is just such a horrible first impression to make. Let's start off with the first objection that coffee dates aren't romantic. Good. This is most likely a first date. This is a stranger. That's normal. You don't know each other. Quit expecting romance that early. The benefit here is that it's probably taking place in the middle of the day, so at least you know he's not trying to sleep with you. The second objection I hear is that it's low effort. Yeah, you can show up in jeans. That's normal. It's a first date. I repeat, he does not know you yet. Taking time out of his day, paying for your coffee, asking you out, that's the amount of effort he owes you. You owe him showing up, being polite, and putting in the amount of effort into your appearance that you normally would when you go out and see anyone. And quit trying to game out what kind of effort a guy will make in the long term anyway. You're just making yourself neurotic. And all of this just shows how people these days are putting so much more emphasis on the actual date rather than getting to know the person because they're terrified of that sort of closeness. So they'd rather feel like they have the upper hand and make up rules for the guy to follow that they just found on TikTok. Bottom line is, if you're single and you're saying no to coffee dates just because it's coffee, your shallowness is the reason that you're actually single.
I agree with this take. I honestly wonder how much less trauma we would give ourselves if we had more tell me about yourself dates rather than show me how much you want me dates. Coffee dates are perfect for the age of online dating. You are literally meeting a stranger from the internet. Coffee is so perfect because it is easy to end it if things are off without being rude or awkward. Coffee dates give both parties an easy way out if the date goes south. These women have memorized all the red flags that they have failed to even study the green ones. They say they like extravagant dates, but are against love bombing. I don't know why people expect a stranger to go out of their way and put forth extreme effort when neither of you know if you even like each other. A reasonable woman would prefer the first date to be coffee or something very casual, but if a woman insists on these high-maintenance first dates, then it's obvious she only cares about what that person can do for her and not if there's an authentic connection. A woman declining a coffee date because it's a coffee date is a great filter. If you were that uptight, then we wouldn't have been a good match anyways. They are all just greedy. They all want a free, expensive dinner and will become angry if that's not the focus of the first date. Their shallowness is the reason they are still single.
All right, so I saw the video of this woman talking about a coffee date and how she was, above a coffee date, how, she decided to go get herself her own food or whatever, I see a lot of women who talk about coffee dates and they're like, I could never, that's the bare minimum. If a man tries to bring you on a coffee date, he just thinks less of you and it's a bare minimum. Listen, I just think a lot of women are just foolish. Y'all are just foolish, to be honest with you. And this is not all women, but the women who think this way. A coffee date is just an icebreaker for a man to get to know you. It ain't that serious. A lot of y'all are just hungry. Just be honest. Just say that you're hungry. Just say that. Because the woman who said she didn't, she turned down a coffee date, she went and got a bowl of soup, a burger, and something else. Just say you hungry. God damn it. Just say you wanted more food. And then she said the food only cost $25. So if you had told the man, look, I just want some food. I'm hungry. I don't want just coffee. I'm pretty sure $25 would have been sufficient. But it's a lot of these women who are entitled and y'all want steak houses and all root Chris on a first date because you hungry as hell and you refuse to just tell the man you hungry. You want some food. You ain't ate in a while. And you didn't have the money to spend all that money on some food. So I would love for you to just go and get me some food because I'm just starving. Instead of playing around and acting like y'all so above a man and he can't just take you to a goddamn place, coffee, lunch, or ice cream, or walk in the park and have a snack. Like, there ain't nothing wrong with that. I don't know. And then it'd be the most facially challenged, the most biggest chicks. I don't know. I ain't even trying to be mean because I don't even want to go there. But I'm saying it's the ones who are challenged in some way or another who has the biggest expectations for these men. If a man is offering to take you out and you are interested, be happy with that. I ain't saying you got to go out with anybody. But if a man that you are interested in and he's interested in you want to take you out, just go on a date. Go on a coffee, lunch date, have a drink, have a snack, something, and have that conversation to see if y'all have something in common, if y'all could build together. If not, just keep it moving and stop making videos because a lot of people don't be believing what y'all be saying because it just don't sound right. I'm just saying.
Coffee or tea is a good way to see if you want to go on a real date. If you have been to Starbucks, on one of those coffee establishments, then you will know that coffee is not cheap and neither is the pastries. You can get a good sandwich at any coffee shop establishment. They don't sell only coffee at those places. These women only turn down the men they don't really like, and then they will try to extract as much as they can out of him because they are broke and can't even feed themselves. The discourse on what is an appropriate date makes me feel like people have lost the plot of what a date is intended for. For two people that are serious about establishing something real, a coffee date or something similar should be standard. Think about it. If a person takes you to a place that is designed to create an experience and you have fun, all the person has to do is not mess it up. That's low effort. If you have a great dining experience at a restaurant that is designed to create a great dining experience, what did the person that took you on the date have to do other than pay for it? Someone that is being able to keep you engaged over a coffee with no distractions or other influences is extremely difficult. People went in on her because she made it seem like a man that she was attracted to turned or asked her out on a coffee date, which we all know she did not find that man attractive, and rather than tell him that she does not find him attractive, she made it seem like she just don't do coffee date, because if she was attracted to that man, she would go to the dump and help him take trash out of his car. Women always know what they are doing.
I just had a guy ask me out on a coffee date. I'm sorry, I don't drink coffee, but even if I did, I wouldn't go on the date because I feel like I'm more of an investment than a coffee date. I just think that that's very high school and I don't like it. And when I try to explain in the nicest way that why I'm not interested, he's trying to give me other ideas that's basically on the same level as coffee. Like, oh, let's go to ice cream, let's go to a bakery.
And here's another one. But yet, you're complaining about a grown-up date and still single. I wonder why.
I'm not a sweets person, not a bakery person. I'm a lunch and dinner person. So take me out to lunch and dinner. He's like, oh, but what if we don't click? And then I spent all this money on an expensive dinner and, you're just going to walk away from my life. I never said it had to be an expensive dinner, but I like dinner. I don't like dessert. I am a high value woman. I am a classy lady.
You high value, but you don't want your dinner to be expensive. And you don't know that dinner would cost more than a coffee date. Now, what class was you in school?
Like, I'm not trying to go to an ice cream or dessert shop. I don't even like that stuff, So I just feel like I just basically said we're not compatible. And he was like, oh, fine, bye. Like, he got so upset. But I'm like, I don't understand why guys do this. But whatever. Am I wrong? Tell me in the comments if I'm wrong.
You're not wrong. You're just setting yourself up to be single for life.
What exactly is wrong with a coffee date? It can easily turn into something more. Dinners and lunches are for couples who already know each other a little better. Coffee is for a stranger you are meeting for the first time. I think these women who insist on dinner for a first date want something to eat for free. How about you have an intermittent fasting or gym date? Coffee date is basically the preliminary date before the first date, and it comes with less pressure. She doesn't want to go because it is a coffee and not a buffet. Considering herself an investment sounds like a piece of work that would be hard to maintain. Feeling confident and sure about yourself is one thing, but oh boy, whatever happened to getting to know someone? Coffee dates are good. It's all about conversation and to get to see if you two are even compatible. If you are not feeling each other, then you can leave with no money wasted. That's an interesting way to say you only value money. Real women wouldn't even mind a coffee date, even though they might not like coffee, but would rather get tea or hot chocolate. An ice cream shop even sounds fun, but no. These women only want food because they are not interested in having a conversation. Coffee date is a good way to get to know someone before deciding if a relationship is worth pursuing or not. A coffee date means you can cut it short if need be and if the vibe isn't right. Lunch or dinner can become uncomfortable if you don't click whether you are high value or high maintenance.
I went on 50-ish first dates last year, and out of those dates, about 3 or 4 of them were coffee dates. They were far and away some of the worst dates I went on out of the 50. And objectively, the dates were fine. We had a nice conversation, maybe we sat outside and had some coffee, but I walked away feeling like I literally don't care if I see this person again or not, which is not really the goal of a first date. I want to have some sort of opinion when I leave. Either I want to see them again and ask them about this specific thing that we talked about, or I really don't want to see them again because of these 3 things were not compatible. But to have literally no opinion on someone after spending an hour, hour and a half with them at coffee, to me just says that you didn't really get into anything significant in terms of conversation. And the reason I think that happens is because coffee dates feel like business meetings, especially coming from the industry that I am in, which is entertainment. Coffee meetings are super common, and so it's really hard to not think of a coffee date as literally just a business meeting. And so any of the things that are important on a date, like asking personal questions or building rapport or finding out if there's a connection, it's even harder to do than it might already be because it doesn't even feel like the right setting for that. So if you like coffee dates, more power to you, but I was amazed that all the dates I went on, the ones where I really had no emotion afterwards at all, positive or negative, were coffee dates. And if you found your husband from a coffee date, I'm not saying you're wrong, but I do think if you're struggling to find connection on first dates, I would stay away from coffee dates and try something a little more fun or interesting or just a change in environment.
Those are lots of free meals and drinks because this sounds like you are in the dating business. Yes, first date should be skydiving, robbing a bank, or wrestling an angry brown bear because these entitled women don't like coffee dates. As a man, a fun casual date like a coffee date can help a man decide if he's genuinely interested in a woman. A man is never going to drop $300 on dinner for a first date with a stranger. I would say that you obviously didn't like those guys, or you require more upfront than you are willing to give. I just don't think these people would have magically become more interesting if you were at a dinner. To be honest, if the connection isn't there, the connection isn't there. Coffee dates are the result of catfishing. Tell your friends to stop using filters and show themselves. If you went on 50 dates in 1 year, you obviously have no intention of actually wanting to find somebody as a boyfriend. It's because you have so many options that you are competing with all your last dates. I can see you having trouble caring when you can replace them easy. A man knows he is attracted to you within 5 seconds, and it doesn't matter where you guys meet, even if there is chemistry. They were far and away their worst dates, but objectively they were fine. What a female logic. You are comparing adventurous dates to coffee dates. It is supposed to be a safe first date, and if you have 50 dates, a coffee date is going to seem boring. There's nothing stopping you from asking important questions, but it's not really something you are supposed to do on a first date. In all, this sounds like a you problem.
I got asked to go on a date the other day, but he wanted to get coffee and then go on a walk. Mind you, the only pictures I have of me outside on my Instagram are me at a beach outside the country. All the other pictures of me are in heels, dressed up, makeup done, hair done. What about me tells you I would want to go get coffee and go on a walk? Stop asking me stupid questions. And he was like, I only want a girl who appreciates walks or like simple things. Then go get a dog. I'm a but I'm not a dog. Stop wasting my time asking me stupid.
You're angry, honey. Ooh, very masculine too. These women are getting like, soon it's gonna be like, I went on this date and I met this guy. I mean, like, could you be any more manly? For the love of God, really? Ooh, he had the audacity. By the way, guys, y'all watching the show and asking them to go on the coffee dates for a walk and saying that you want a girl that likes simple things. Ooh, I'm so touched. I get a few messages, by the way. Guys write me and they say I did it. Sometimes I write back and I say, what'd you do? I asked her on a coffee date and she got ruffled. And I laugh. I sit here. If they could see me on the other end, smile from ear to ear. Because you know what? None of y'all are too good for the coffee date. Women, none of you are too good for the coffee date because it's just, who gives a lick? And if you're really there for that guy, you won't give a lick either. But you're not there for him. You're there for the fancy. You're there for the pre-game champagne so you can ditch that guy and go afterward and to the bar and find some other guy that you're going to hook up with in your whole phase, right? You're not there for him because if you were there for him, you wouldn't care where he took you as long as he was there. Let's be honest. I see you. Okay, back to the clip. So ladies, the guys are testing you now. And too bad you don't have the power anymore. You gave it up because you were too nasty. So now they're going to do this. And you know what? Maybe that guy was really smart. And he looked at your page and he saw you all dressed up. And he said, oh, she wants to go out with me? Let me see if she really wants to go out with me or if she's just looking for this nonsense. Let's see. And look what you showed him, right? You proved his point. And she, how dare he ask me if I would go for a walk, being that I'm all dressed up. What, you don't have feet, honey? You don't walk from point A to point B? Or maybe he looked at your page and said, oh, this seems, she's attractive. And, oh, okay. So I'll ask her for a walk. Maybe he didn't assume that you would be an ingrate, spoiled brat. He was wrong. Proved him wrong on that one. It's interesting, too, how masculine they're getting, right? It's like all of this anger. We did a clip the other day where we're talking about angry women, and the woman's like, be angry. It's so good for you. Women, it's so good to be angry. It's making them like masculinized. They're like very, right? It doesn't just seem just like they're just unattractive. You're like, ooh, God.
I avoid people that think they have more self-worth than they actually have. They don't know you and you don't know them. How about you use your women's rights and pay for a dinner date? What's wrong with a coffee date and a walk? Any woman who doesn't like coffee date is a red flag. Bro dodged a major bullet. A walk with a coffee at hand is a really good way to get to know someone, and it honestly shows that he is a pretty chill dude and responsible, and not just with money, but his time, and being selective is attractive when it is done right. A coffee as a first date is good because it doesn't put pressure or obligations on the woman, and most coffee dates end up becoming good. Expensive dates are for committed relationships. You want a man's money, then you have to make a commitment. When dating apps started, coffee dates or going out for drinks were pretty standard. It was a chance to meet in person, and there was no pressure. Casual expensive dinner was considered desperate. You are only worth what someone is willing to pay for you, like a house or a car. You don't set your value, someone else does. That's why so many of you still fail. It is cheaper to rent a car than to buy one. She missed the whole point, and he made the best decision of his life. Men, let's normalize first dates as only coffee.
Hold on a second. So you're really telling me that you're leaving your house to go on a coffee date? And you're trying to convince me that that is a real date. That's not a real date. That's a vibe check. That's a vibe check. He's not being intentional, and that is not investment. And if that is how you're starting off with that man, it's not going anywhere. And I don't need to be psychic to tell you that. It's going nowhere. Because in the beginning, if a man is not trying to impress you, he doesn't care enough, okay? He does not give an F. What are you doing? It's 2025. Raise those standards, baby. Raise them, okay?
See, this is exactly why men are switching to coffee dates instead of dinner. She's saying if a man's not trying to impress you from the start, it's going nowhere. But that's not standards, that's entitlement. And honestly, I don't blame men for catching on. Men are tired. They're tired of putting in effort, time, energy, and money just to get ghosted, disrespected, or used for attention and free meals. And we as women helped create that. We turned dating into a performance test instead of a connection. Now it's like men have to prove themselves before they're even shown genuine interest, effort, or femininity. It's almost as if somewhere along the way, dating became transactional. We stopped asking, do I like this man? And started asking, what can I get from him? And when a man offers a coffee date, suddenly it's low effort or he's not serious. No, he's just smart. Like, a coffee date isn't disrespectful. It's a man saying, let me see who you really are before I invest more. Because a lot of women have shown that they'll fake interest for a free dinner, post it online, and disappear the next day. So men are protecting their time. They're not being cheap. They're being cautious. And I totally respect that. If your entire definition of effort is tied to how much money a man spends on you before he even knows you, that's not confidence. That's entitlement. Because effort isn't about the price tag, it's about intention. And if you're really a woman who's ready for love, you'll show up with grace, curiosity, and good energy, whether the date is coffee or dinner. Because you understand that the connection is the reward, not the drink or the bill. And yes, if that first date goes well, if the vibe is there, of course the second date can be dinner. That's the natural flow. But demanding a grand gesture before you've even proven your value, that's what's ruining dating. Coffee dates don't expose broke men, they expose entitled women. If you need a dinner bill to feel valued, you're not dating, you're auditioning for a sponsor. Real genuine connection doesn't need a price tag. Real women bring value wherever they go, and real men recognize that instantly, no matter what's in the cup.
Coffee date is a vibe check. That's the point. You have to check to see if she is worth your time. The first 30 to 60 minutes tell you a lot of useful information. The idea that I should be working hard to impress someone I barely know is so weird. Some people are just going to price themselves out of the dating world. Coffee date is great because there will be a minimal outside distraction or stimulation. It is the belief that one person's time is more important than the other, and that never ceases to make me raise an eyebrow. Does that woman have any idea how many happily married couples started out with coffee dates? Does she want to know why they tend to be so happy? Because it was more about liking the other person's company and character than trying to impress them constantly. Dating is now translational. You can absolutely tell the ones with intentions based on the value they require to take them out on a first date. A man doesn't need to impress you. He needs to get to know you and to make sure you have good intentions, and also if you can actually bring anything positive and healthy to his life and well-being. Impression equals fakery.
Oh God, there's so many of these comments. Listen, any woman that is watching this right now, if you are seeking serious, intentional relationships, coffee dates are unacceptable. You should not be accepting coffee dates because they are low investment. These are low investment dates. Yes, go and look it up. Go and look at the definition. Coffee dates, these kind of dates, walking dates, okay, let's go for a walk, let's go for a stroll, these kind of things, these are low investment dates. I don't care what you have to say, okay? I don't care. I'll die on the hill. And I'll tell you why they're low investment dates. Because these dates require minimal effort. I'm going to say that again. Minimal effort and planning and cost from the man. And all of these things, yes, all of these things are a reflection of how much the man cares and how intentional the man is being. Okay? Nobody's using their brain here. You see how everyone goes from one extreme to another? It's either coffee or a 5-star dinner. How about the other 100 things that you can do? No one's really used their brain. No one's thought about the other things that you can do. Because here's the thing, I never said dinner. Did I say dinner in this video? No. Everybody just let their emotions take over them. Yeah. You need to learn how to compose your emotions and really dissect something. Okay? A lot of you are out here letting your emotions take over you. Learn how to compose your emotions, okay? You shouldn't be triggered by a video. I never once said dinner. I never once said dinner in this video. Go and watch it again. I never said dinner. You see how triggered you get? Okay. So now that we've kind of unpacked that, let's go back to why, if you are a woman who is seeking serious, intentional relationships currently, right now in 2025, you should not be accepting coffee dates. Ignore the other men in the comments. They're trying to shame you for having standards. Because if you have standards, if you have high standards as a woman, and I have high standards as a woman, and then the other woman, and then the other woman, no man is getting picked. Okay? It's in their interest to say this in the comments. So, ladies, I need you to come here with me. Ignore the men in the comments, all right? Just block out the noise. Listen to what I'm telling you right now, please. Some of you are very new here on my page. Maybe you should go and look at my content and see what I teach. Low investment dates require minimal effort and planning and cost from the man, which is a reflection of how much he cares and how intentional that man is being. And I don't know about you guys, but if I see those things from a man from the beginning, I'm out. That's not attractive to me. I'm repulsed by that. Okay? It's not about being high maintenance, and it's not about being demanding, okay? Again, ignore the men in the comments. They want you to settle. They want you to settle. It's 2025. We don't settle. We don't need to. Raise your standards and keep them high. The man is meant to meet those standards. If he can't, bye. Bye. Next. I don't care. Not wasting time. Next. There's literally a man waiting to take your spot, and he can do those things. So, goodbye. Okay? That's how you need to be. And the funny thing is, The men in the comments deep down know how a man who is truly serious about a woman moves. Don't try and gaslight my girls. You guys know exactly how you move when it's the woman of your dreams. So, this takes me back to being intentional. It is about the intent. It is not about the price of the date. Nobody said the price. Nobody's mentioning money. It's about the intention. Did you go out of your way to plan this date? Did you take things into consideration? Did you ask yourself, where should I take this girl? Or did you just say, I'm just trying to save money, and I got another girl that I'm seeing tomorrow and the day after, and I just need to see who I want to pick. So you know what? I'm just going to give them all coffee dates. A man who is truly serious about you is typically going to make more effort, ladies, okay? Ignore everything else and listen. Listen to me. I am sick, but I'm doing this video. A man who is serious is going to move different. And it's not going to be a chore for him, by the way. You know why? Because you are the kind of woman that he wants to be with. He wants to be with you, okay? You've been speaking. You already tick a lot of his boxes. He's got a good vibe from you. Oh, yeah. Remember how I said, you know, don't accept it because it's a vibe check? Yeah, you need to be doing the vibe check before. Yeah. And you need to be going on dates with people that you're excited about. Some of you are in my comments saying, oh my God, imagine being stuck on a date with somebody that you don't like. Okay. Well, that's a reflection of your poor choices. And clearly you don't have a very strong vetting process, which is quite concerning. Men and women, okay? I'm here obviously helping the women, but you know what, men? I advise you to have a very strong vetting process, okay? You also need to be vetting these women. So I don't know why some of you are saying, oh, but imagine you don't like the girl. Why are you going out with her? That's so strange. A high-value man really, really respects his time. He values himself so much. He has very strong boundaries. He has a vetting process. He's also going to test the woman in the beginning. So I don't really understand what's going on here. Are you guys just speed dating? Like, what's happening here? Very confused. Yeah, very confused. Anyway, if you're a woman right now seeking serious intentional connections, do not accept coffee dates, okay? It's low investment and it's a cost-effective way of doing a vibe check on you. And I'm sorry, you are so much better than that. And nobody said anything about dinner. There's so many things that man can plan. But the fact that he just wants to take you to coffee, that says everything. That is a huge reflection of his behavior. And guess what? By the way, people always say, oh, a date, you're just going to see if you like the person. You know, there's no importance on a date. No, first dates are really important. They're very important. You know why? Because they set the precedent. So how you show up on that date really determines how the rest of that connection is going to go. So if you're the kind of woman that signals to him that, you know what, I'm just happy with this $5 coffee date, you've set the tone. You've set the tone of how this is going to go. A guy who's really serious about you is actually going to take pride in planning a date for you. He's going to be excited. It's not going to be annoying for him. It's not going to be a chore for him. He is genuinely excited. He's enthusiastic about seeing you. So he wants to know, what's your favorite cuisine? What do you like right now? What do you want to do? What's on your list of activities? What are your hobbies? He's going to plan a date. That is something that you will enjoy because he wants to show you he values your time. He's not going to say, let's go for a coffee, because he wants it to be special. He wants it to be personalized. How many people have you said, let's go for a coffee to? Good night.
When did coffee dates start being cheap, low investment or effort, and boring as opposed to a safety precaution when meeting strangers from the internet? These women don't even see the red flags. Coffee dates are the only first date option. No more free food than ghosting. A coffee date is to get to know each other more and to see if there is a potential spark for a relationship. It is not a let's see how much you can spend on me type of thing, and if the conversation and vibes are genuine, full of laughter and fun, then trust is established and things can go great afterwards. Men don't want to spend a bunch of money on someone that they barely know, and the odds are they won't see each other again. The point of a date is to talk and get to know each other and see if it's worth pursuing further, and not to get free food and entertainment. Many men have been to several dinner and drink dates that cost them anywhere from $100 to $300, and they have gone absolutely nowhere afterwards. I'm genuinely curious at what women do on these dates, or what makes it okay to expect things from a guy that has never met them. Like, what are you bringing to this date? Both showing up dressed and present, but he brings all the money and you bring nothing. During coffee dates, you can engage in conversation and establish rapport. I understand your primary interest lies in complimentary meals at upscale establishments. Keep your standard and stay alone. Low investment would be on low-standard people. Men really care about their hard-earned money, and they aren't wasting their money on who they don't even know much whether it's worth it or not. Stop fooling other women. Let them do whatever they like. Women, stop looking for advice from single women. We have come to the end of today's video. Tell me what you all think about it in the comment section. See you all next time. Thanks for always watching.